vamos a un tema trágico, porque tiene que ver con la muerte, y toda muerte es trágica. Y en una época donde acudimos todos los días a las máquinas para crear, para generar ideas, quizás estamos ante las puertas de la muerte de la originalidad. Démosle la bienvenida a Constanza Coballasi para que nos amplíe sobre el tema. Bienvenida, Constanza.
All right, so have you ever seen one of those comments on Instagram Reels or maybe even TikTok telling you that you're doing too much, caring too much, or simply being too much just because of a certain music you like, the way that you dress, or even an opinion you might have? That's when you feel the claws start pulling you back in. Like crabs in a bucket, no one's allowed to climb out. Crabs in a bucket refers to a deeply social phenomenon, often seen in crabs but used metaphorically on humans, referring to the act of standing out. Whenever a crab tries to climb out of a bucket, other crabs in the bucket will try to pull it back in. And in this case, whenever a person tries to stand out or be different, they will get pulled back down by society to try and conform, to try and be the same, because everyone wants to remain in the comfort of safeness and numbness. And so we are left with the question, what is left of us to be original? Like crabs in a bucket, no one is allowed to climb out. So, Hollywood is full of reboots and sequels. Social media is full of the same dances and TikToks and music and everything. And so we are left with no original content. In music itself, we are left with nostalgic samples instead of creating and innovating something new. So we are left with no original music. And finally, in some schools, there is even cases where safe, standardized answers are favored over the creative, the new, the innovative, because they want everyone to remain safe and comforted. And so we don't dare to step outside the norm and to break the status quo. The reason why this talk exists in the first place is because of shiny object syndrome, a phenomenon I've noticed throughout time in social media and in other places. Now, this isn't a social media is bad talk. This is a talk about how whenever we see a trend, we see something new, we want to chase it because it feels good, because it brings us dopamine and therefore it makes us happy. But the problem with this is that no matter how much dopamine we chase, at the end of the day, we're starting to not separate reality from what is trending. And so we lose a creativity because of simple dopamine. And we are left with nothing to keep going. Now, whenever I ask AI to generate a picture of a rabbit, maybe with a hat, it's gonna pull from other images, other drawings, other things, to try and make another picture. And well, you might think, well, there's nothing wrong with that, it's just a picture. But the problem is it's pulling from the past and giving us nothing new. And there is no creativity, no soul left in AI. There's no soul, no hard work, no emotion put into it, because as silly as it might sound, photoshopping a picture of maybe a rabbit will put soul into it. Maybe if it's just a joke, but it has some sort of emotion. And whenever you ask AI to generate something like this, it has no soul and therefore no creativity, no intent, no purpose. Another thing with AI is its large recycling of itself. And now I want to explain first with pictures. Whenever you ask AI to generate you a picture of, let's say, a fish, it will try and scan pictures of fishes on the internet, anything normal, anything it sees. And it will create something that really isn't anything. It's nothing. It's dust, it's algorithms, it's zeros and ones. And whenever you ask a human to draw a picture of a fish, it will see a fish, it will know how a fish looks like because it has eyes, it has souls, and it's alive, unlike AI. And its large recycling of itself can lead to things like this, because whenever you ask it to generate, let's say, a picture of a bird, it will have ever so slight mistakes that will never be fixed because AI does not learn like a human does. And so, time after time, that picture will keep on recycling itself until we are left with something that you can kind of tell it's a bird, but at the same time, not really. And so, when everything is a copy of a copy, a Xerox of a Xerox, we are left with nothing to innovate, nothing new, nothing great, nothing revolutionary, just empty, soulless thoughts and words put into a machine. Now, back to those crabs in a bucket. Whenever a person tries to be ambitious, to stand out, to be passionate about something, they are pulled back down into the comfort of sameness. But ironically, we are starved of this creativity. We are starved of our own work, our own originality, and we are starting to notice because we see that we are becoming numb to reality and we only chase short-term dopamine. Think of people like Kurt Cobain, who revolutionized music, who revolutionized an entire generation because he was needed. In a time of need, in a time of anger, he created the band Nirvana, which was iconic at its time and created the grunge movement, something that spoke to the people, something new, something creative, something original, something outstanding. That is until corporate leached off of it and created things like this. Now, you may see this hoodie everywhere, and there's nothing wrong with wearing it, but my point is that companies, to survive, will leech off on creativity and soul and turn it into something like this until nobody knows what Nirvana even is and they think it's a clothing brand. But we are starting to notice this trend as well, and I saw this summer Chromacopia, Chapeau Roan, Charlie XCX, Kendrick Lamar. They're putting creativity and soul into their work, and that makes them new. It makes it refreshing. We want to see more of it. This summer, they revolutionized what music meant and what creativity meant. They are breaking the status quo and raising the bar for all artists. After years of numbness and sameness, we are finally starting to see the revolution rise up again, after years and years of being silent. Now, you might be wondering, well, what can I do? What can I do to solve the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe's 50th film? You can't. You can't solve fast fashion. You can't solve fast production. You can't do that. But you can take little steps so slowly we start to come out of our shell again. If you have the urge to delete a personal project just because you think it's a little weird or people will not like it, do it anyways. Just try. If you're scared of making a mistake, asking a question, do it anyways. Because we need rebels. We need rebels in this society. We need people to try too much and care too hard and be too loud and be themselves, because we are losing that as people, as a society. And if that makes you repel and disgust, that's good, because it means you're paying attention.